Good afternoon. How are you? Happy new moon. This is our second new moon in the month of August, and this is a black new moon in Virgo. So, over the last few days, we've been spending time watching things just leave our lives without us having to really make an effort for them to leave. We have been watching things disseminate and fall apart, crumble right before our eyes. Some of it has brought a lot of grief in. Even the things that you knew that you wanted to get rid of has brought you a certain amount of grief. And so here we are in the season of letting go, which will not stop because this is a 9-year. So this entire year is about letting go and creating fertile soil for where you are to land next year. So I know, so filled with grief, so filled with tears. And here we have a new moon in Virgo. So this new moon, the qualities in Virgo that we tend not to like is their criticalness, their judgment, their discrimination. But those qualities are actually what we're needing right now. So we're needing to utilize our discrimination, right, towards things, right? We need to utilize our critical thinking. We need to utilize our determination, our efficiency. There's some big choices on the table that need to be made. But here, we have a Virgo South node that we're working with right at this time. And so what this tells me is that we've made some choices. We've made some choices some time ago. It's just how do you go about living in those choices, or what are the steps that you take to really accomplish those choices over your life, for yourself. And with this Virgo new moon, it gives us an opportunity to really be practical and to really be critical in our judgment and really use our sense of discrimination and discernment and say, what are the steps to get me? I've made this decision. I've certainly grieved it in the last few days, right? I've certainly been grieving, if not in the last few days, certainly over the last few months, we've been grieving. So we've been grieving these choices already. How do we now really live in those choices, take up space in those choices, step into those choices that you've already made over your life? And that is truly the energy of this moon, right? So with a South node in Virgo, you have deliberated, you have made the judgment, you have done all the things. And if you're getting this nudge to do some more of it, then continue that. But right now, it truly is about living in those choices that we have chosen for ourselves, and that now we see that they're actually taking place, that we could feel the energy of that separation that's upon us. The thing with Virgo is that we can really get into a space of rigidity. So we can start to really be rigid in our thinking, kind of like stepping in front of our ancestors, stepping in front of spirit. And what do I mean by that? Is that we can get into the space of we think we know more than the ancestors. We think we know more than spirit. So timing is everything. And the timing will be shown to you. We can't rush ahead of the timing of the change, but we can certainly be prepared for when that change occurs. So there's a lot with Pisces as the North Node. We have a lot that's being worked out for us in the spiritual realm. The ancestors are at work, even when it seems like they're not at work. What we can do right now is to be in service of the self and to really be patient and to be still and to watch how they bring forward into our life even better than we thought could be possible. So this is the season of, even even better than we thought could be possible. And for that to happen, we have to wait on the ancestors. We have to have a deep trust in spirit. And we have to say, we know it's coming because I made this choice. I've given myself to this choice. I have not only made the choice, I am using the energy of this new moon to create the space for that choice to land. And that is the work that you can do. There's some work that you cannot do that has to be done behind the scenes over your life and over these choices that you're making. And so when we are rigid in our thinking that it has to go the way that we think that it has to go, then we don't allow room for expansion. We don't allow room for change because we've boundaried ourselves in by our rigidity. So anything bigger, anything larger, anything more successful, anything more expansive really cannot happen until we make these choices, but we're soft around the edges. We're soft around the edges because we're trusting that spirit and the ancestors know better than we will ever know about what direction and what could it look like for it to go. One of the things that I want to talk about, another thing, not one other thing that I want to talk about is, we've spoken into reality that we want to be healed. Well, now is the time while the ancestors and spirit is working out the kind of healing, all the facets of you that needs to be healed. This truly is the time to say, okay, if I want to be healed, what is the next practical step that I can do? If I want to be successful and make more money, what is the next practical step that I can do while the ancestors are working out your best possible life behind the scenes? This is going to require a lot of listening. So with this Virgo full moon, we're also discerning what is the voice of spirit, what is the voice of our ancestors, and what is the voice of fear. So if you are sitting with a lot of worry and a lot of tension behind the goals that you want to manifest, you are really listening to the voice of fear versus the voice of spirit. So also use your discernment and your critical thinking to understand that sometimes we can talk ourselves out of our blessing by really laying into a spirit of fear versus a spirit of faith and a spirit of trust. Now, this moon is squaring Uranus. What that means, not only is it a dark moon in the sky, you hear me, but it's also squaring Uranus. What this means is there are some things that are happening that probably will be shocking. There are some words that are coming your way that probably will be shocking. There are some separations, some pulling away that could be shocking. But also on the other side of that, there is some good news that could be shocking. There is some healing news that could be shocking. There is some great financial benefit that could be shocking. There is some great way that you will be called into even more service and even more leadership in your life and in the life of your community that could be shocking. So also be open to not only being shocked by the things that are terrible, but also be open to be shocked by the things that are amazing during this time and this Virgo moon. One of the things that I want to tell you, another thing I want to tell you is that, if we find with this square, this Virgo moon and this square, our thinking could be such that it could be a rabbit hole at this time. We can fall down the rabbit hole with our thinking at this time. So a great thing to do would be to shore up your nervous system as we are walking through a very discriminating period, a very critical period under this black moon, but also a very beautiful period, right, on the other side. So yes, our choices actually count. Our choices count a lot. So we would want to quiet our nervous system so that we can hear and we can see the truth that's being sent to us from spirit and our ancestors. And what we hear and see, we will put into full practice into this new season leading up to the next new moon. So this is a building of hearing and seeing, but this is an important time for us to ground our nervous system. So nervines are going to be so important. With Virgo's energy, gut nervines are going to be important. We're definitely going to feel this in our gut, right? So if we're going to feel this in our gut, we want to start to make sure that this enteric nervous system that lives in our gut is quiet and can hear. This is considered your first brain. So it's a great place to listen in fullness to all that's being brought to you. Herbs that are really beautiful for this time. Chamomile is really lovely for quieting this enteric nervous system, and also so that you can listen more clearly. Peppermint, beautiful, relaxant to the organs, but it awakes the brain so that your thinking can be clearly. Lavender, also amphoteric, also a plant of Mercury, meaning that it stills you and it stimulates you at the same time. Your central nervous system is stimulated, but this enteric nervous system that's in your gut and your other organs are relaxed. Those are some of the great plant medicines that I'm recommending to you for this time. Remember, choices count. This is a black moon. There is a need right now for this moon for us to have a second opportunity to have a new moon in the month of August. I am asking you to really pay attention to whose voice you're listening to, and do not be betrayed into listening to the voices that are around you that happen to be the loudest, and move away from that still, quiet center inside. Until we talk again, sending you so much love. Take care. Bye-bye.